Shaq threatens to punch RG3, and why I absolutely love this entire saga. Could the WNBA actually derail all of its progress with a lockout? And adulterers exposed at a Coldplay concert, and you can wager on the outcome of this drama. I'm Doug Kezirian, and this is Hard Pass, also available in podcast. The big protector, the big enforcer, dare I say, the big role model. That's where we begin the Hoop Scoop. Shaquille O'Neal coming to the defense of Angel Reese, the WNBA star who's just 23 years old. Shaq publicly defended her after a firestorm ignited in the wake of Reese being announced as the cover of the WNBA's version of NBA 2K. And that prompted wild reaction, most notably, sure, the internet trolls, they're always going to weigh in, and the obligatory me-bound comments, but it's definitely another level when a former star athlete who has over 2 million Twitter followers chimes in. RG3, Robert Griffin III, who's now an analyst turned personality, TV personality, no longer with ESPN, when he chimed in and created a buzz. RG3 out of nowhere with a bizarre retweet, one that involved a racial picture with a comment that can only be interpreted by someone who's trying to piggyback Reese's fame and notoriety. Claims that Reese's inner circle had privately reached out to him and said she, in fact, does hate Caitlin Clark and is sick of being always compared to her. Random? Absolutely. On Twitter, even Reese's mom and Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter told him to pipe down. Well, now Shaq is involved, and he's not messing around.
Oh, speaking of man, RG3, tweet another monkey post about my girl Angel Reese. I'm punching your face. Okay? It's enough. Like, I don't usually do stuff like this, but just stop it, bro. You got your job, you got your podcast, leave my Angel Reese alone. I'm the one calling her and telling her not to respond. Stop it. That's the last time. Okay? Thank you. It's a shame that all the stuff you did in your life, you're going to be remembered for your podcast. You're going to be remembered for your podcast. That should tell you you're not that great. I don't want to be remembered for Shaq's Bit podcast. I do not. Like, leave those girls alone. You already spoke on it. Let it go. So what? He hates her. So what? I hate you now for messing with her. Now what? Say something about me. But she's not going to respond because I'm the one calling her and be like, baby, keep it classy. Because she's not soft by any means. You're from the streets. But I'm like, you're beautiful. Don't indulge with these fools because he's a fool. You don't even have G14 classification to say that.
That was Shaq on the Off the Record podcast. Now, somewhat ironically, his TV teammate, Charles Barkley, back in his playing days, famously said he's not a role model, but Shaq's former teammate during his playing days, Kobe Bryant, was definitely a role model. We didn't really learn about how much he mentored current players until after his tragic death. Kobe did that one-on-one, off the record, but it was such a big influence to so many. And Shaq is doing that with Angel Reese, and I absolutely love it. Look, she's 23 years old, and she is getting so much, not just the trolls, but so much attention and notoriety, and race is certainly involved. And parents and loved ones and other close friends can only do so much because they don't really understand, right? The fame, the fortune, the scrutiny. What could a parent possibly understand what their child and kid is going through? An agent or manager, yes, certainly knowledgeable given their industry expertise, but they never walked a day in those particular shoes. A fellow athlete certainly has, and not just traveling a similar path, but they can identify and they've been building that trust. Like Shaq and Angel Reese go way back, and they've built this over time. It wasn't just something happened like a crisis with Angel Reese and then Shaq shows up because they have an LSU connection. No, it's been going on for a long time. He's established the safe space with her, and he's also the president of Reebok basketball. Athletes need more of this, whether it's financial advice or something else along those lines. Yeah, the rookie symposium does their part, and the objectives are there. I get it. But it still feels like a seminar or advice that's going to fall on deaf ears. Building trust over time, and then that safe space will make such a difference. So when there is a crisis, it's not someone new. There's built trust. Shaq even said he's the one telling Angel Reese to lay low and not respond to RG3. So good on Shaq. Hopefully there's more of these relationships that we don't know about, because the athletes certainly need someone that can mentor them when only they really know what it's like to walk a day in those shoes. Now, on a lighter note, sticking with Angel Reese in the WNBA, when I heard this stat, I couldn't believe it. I had to basically read it 3 times for it to fully register. This season, Angel Reese has actually made more three-pointers on the road than Caitlin Clark. Reese, 3 for 15 in 12 road games. Clark, 2 of 35 in 5 road games. 2 of 35. Now, she's obviously been hampered by 3 injuries, left quad, left groin, and now the right groin, and that's going to force her to skip the All-Star festivities. But, that's a giant blow to the crowd and fans, particularly because Indianapolis is the host city. But wild that Clark, who's just known as a sharpshooter, has been so off the mark in those road games. Now, Clark certainly avoiding furthering the injury this weekend in Indy, but she could not avoid the reach of comedian Shane Gillis. The ESPYs host playfully targeted her and really the entire WNBA in his opening monologue.
When Caitlin Clark retires from the WNBA, she's going to work at a Waffle House so she can continue doing what she loves most, fist-fighting black women. Four-time WNBA All-Star Brittany Hicks is here. Give it up for Brittany, everybody. I'm joking around. That's my friend's wife. I knew none of you knew WNBA players.
Shane Gillis did not hold anything back. Very creative humor, if you ask me. And I'm a fan, not only of him, but really of all comedians. And some say they should have some restrictions. I do not. I think anything goes. That is what comedy is all about. And you know that going into the situation when you have a comedian doing a monologue. Let's head to Vegas for Summer League. And this is a posterization you may not ever see again. And it may be the dunk of the year. Johnny Furphy of the Indiana Pacers, second year out of Kansas, dunking all over Bulls rookie Noah Essengue, who's only 18 years old and just got to the States a couple weeks ago. So certainly tough on the youngster. And as you would imagine, huge reaction on social media, everyone chiming in. So let's check in on the Pacers, who retweeted Tyrese Halliburton's comments. Obviously, a new teammate of Furphy, or a teammate of Furphy, couldn't believe it. Sheesh. And the Pacers using emoji. Full court pass, really having 2 reactions. The windup from Furphy, and then this picture on the right of Essengue will forever be used in memes and things like that. Really a tough break for the youngster. Wrong place, wrong time, and Furphy, incredible athleticism and navigating in air to throw that dunk. And this one, Bulma, after Deadspin said, "Who's stopping the Los Angeles Clippers' new big 3? Probable, out, and doubtful." Oof. Clippers are making serious moves, but it's also a franchise known for botching things. And the punchline is furthered when Beal and Harden are paired together in the backcourt. And yes, I know that the odds are stacked against the Clippers. Obviously, I'd rather have the field than them to come out of the West and reach the NBA Finals. But some players and teams do eventually get over the hump at some point. Remember, the Thunder just won for the first time since relocating to OKC. Tony Bennett and Virginia were a punchline, especially losing in the 116 matchup. And then they did win the title. Phil Mickelson was a punchline, always the bridesmaid until he won the Masters in 2004. And now he has several majors, and make it 6, right? Steve Ballmer is not messing around. He's sick of the narrative for the Clippers. He wants to win, so he's spending like a madman. Good on him. If the players are sick of all the criticism and the ridicule, don't complain about it. Go fix it and win, right? Change that narrative. James Harden, you've earned all the jokes. And frankly, many people have been soft on you, if you ask me. You've completely laid giant eggs in several playoff games with everything on the line. Here's an idea. stop doing it in crucial playoff games. You can control this. So go do it. You have all the resources now at Ballmer, and you have surrounded by talent. So go do it. The WNBA could see all its positive momentum the last couple years derailed with a lockout. That's the subject of the marquee matchup, the league versus the players union, which is a main focal point this weekend, which is All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis. And the two sides met in person for the first time since December. And you had 40-plus hoopers, which is the most ever in attendance. And in short, it's not going great, but it could just be a negotiating ploy. That is the key. And it's centered around all of this that's going down. And as you would imagine, the players want more money, and they think it is a huge opportunity for the league to capitalize, and the players are behind it. But the players union is holding firm, saying in a statement, business is business. And it certainly is. 3 expansion cities announced to be unveiled by 2030, and each of those teams are paying a price to the league, the price tag of $250 million, plus, more importantly, the $2.2 billion media rights deal kicks in next season. Worst case scenario is there is a lockout, and the players have indirectly and directly threatened that. But again, could just be a negotiating ploy. End of October is a loose deadline, so still some time. The only reason they met is because everyone was in the same city with the All-Star festivities, so that is the only reason there's a sense of urgency. But the players want better situation in terms of amenities. Better officiating was another topic, but really locker room, facilities, stuff like that. But money is always what it comes down to, and we shall see. Certainly something to monitor, but it's not a dire situation just yet. Betting 101 is exactly what it sounds like, an opportunity to delve into sports betting. And in this segment, I often point out a wager I personally like, or just dive into a topic that is trending or something that's interesting in the sports betting space. And taking a step back, we have standard sports books, the familiar ones, DraftKings and FanDuel. Those are the largest market shares of the industry. Then Caesars, BetMGM, BetRivers, ESPN Bet. There are also other platforms, peer-to-peer, person-to-person, which means someone can just post a wager at a certain price, like a bid, and someone can accept the bid and match it, like an eBay. So you can wager through a platform, peer-to-peer betting, and Kalshi is one of those peer-to-peer platforms. Now, it doesn't have a traditional gaming license, so that means it doesn't just need sports betting. You can do things that are pop culture, things along those lines, the Academy Awards, the gray area of current events, if you will. And this allows people to wager on really fun things, and then 2 people match, so to speak. Well, that also includes the biggest trending storyline this week from a Coldplay concert. 2 executives at the same company, clearly each cheating on their spouses, were caught in the act, so to speak, on Kiss Cam at the Coldplay concert. This is Astronomer CEO Andy Byron and his head of HR, Kristen Cabot, and they react when suddenly noticing themselves on the Jumbotron at the concert. Kalshi is now taking advantage of this windfall of notoriety and offering odds on whether Byron, the CEO, will leave the company by the end of July. The odds are traded as percentages. There's been some wild swings. So there's no odds makers per se, third-party odds-making sort of office. It's just one person saying, I'll do this. It's name that tune, essentially, for current events and crazy odds. It's 2 people, what we do often, hanging out, watching sports, thinking something's going to happen. Well, you can wager on that. And again, it's not DraftKings, it's not FanDuel, where you have gaming licenses and all this official stuff. It is decided on. Kalshi is the one that really grabbed the bull by the horns, because there's been such traction of this story. So they wanted to make something, grab some headlines themselves. And the jokes are just pouring in, as you would imagine. Worst thing about it is not your spouse seeing it. It's letting people know you actually went to a Coldplay concert. And it's the low-hanging fruit. And obviously everyone's lives that are involved in this have been completely shook and will never be the same. But Kalshi is offering odds on this outcome, if you will. Time now for Fans in the Stands, as this is when we get to showcase and profile you, our audience, our fans in the stands. And it's the mailbag segment where I get to respond to some of the comments that you've made in our most recent episodes. And let's check out the first one. This is from 311KBB. It's not a fair comparison. MJ completely changed the game. The impact he had on the game was more than anyone could ever do again. This was in response to the Bleacher Report's top 100 of all time. And they're voting, and MJ finished 1, LeBron 2 in terms of the 100 greatest basketball players ever, and it was by 1 point, 1 measly point. And it's really hard, and I agree with this fan in the stands, that it's really too hard. I mean, what MJ did is just in an island by itself, but what LeBron has done, the longevity is also greatness. The all-time leading scorer, all the seasons. He's climbing up the ranks in assists. He's top 4, I want to say. So really, they are two different players and careers when you factor in that Jordan took a step away and what LeBron's been doing age 40 at this point. Next one, Ryan Huffman. I wonder how Bronny fans would feel about Bronny playing in an elimination game for the Lakers. And I think that's a great way to put it because Bronny played well, 17-5-5 in a recent Summer League game, and everyone thinking, oh, see, this isn't nepotism. This is Bronny being the great player that he was. He was a little bit of a project, but no, it's Summer League, and that was my whole stance. Let's see it happen in the regular season game, and hopefully he does evolve and becomes a really solid player, but that doesn't mean he didn't get drafted because he's LeBron's son. It's not coincidence the Lakers drafted him. Simple as that. No one else had him in the second round. Cream City, no Bronny slander. And I don't like Angel Reese personally, but I think she's rude. But Caitlin Clark did the same damn thing with the you can't see me hand, whether or not people will admit it. When that happened, it was a race issue, not now it's character issues. So when that happened, I had to stand with Angel Reese because that was definitely picking sides. I can't let one get away with it. I respect what Cream City is saying, but I respectfully disagree. That's not what happened here. This was during the game. Caitlin Clark waved at her like she can't shoot kind of thing, almost trying to invite a shot which would help Iowa win. It wasn't taunting when the game was already decided like Angel Reese did. Unless I'm missing something, we're talking about different things. But that hand gesture against Raven of South Carolina, very different situation than when LSU's Angel Reese was taunting Caitlin Clark at the end of the national championship game during a stoppage of time in the final couple minutes. It is what it is. It's not race. It's not anything. But I actually support Angel Reese, and I don't hold it against her. But that taunting was taunting. What Caitlin Clark did was not. We always enjoy the feedback, positive or negative, so please feel free to get involved in the conversation. Join the conversation, as we say. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section, and we will read some of them on the next show. And until then, best of luck, and we'll see you next time.